absolutely destroyed by Caps last time around, and 100 Thieves want to set him up better for success.
Well, as we jumped into draft, just like Deficio and Jet, Fnatic and 100 Thieves are prioritizing the supports with Thresh, Alistair, Rakan off the table. 100 Thieves have taken away Akali, and there is Urgot, the only 100% presence champion thus far. The response, Aatrox.
You would expect Desire priority right now for Fnatic. Oh, never mind. Aurelia going to be the first pick now. The thing about Aurelia on blue side is typically why it's so strong is because it can be flexed between top and mid. But the thing about Soaz is I'm yet to see him play champions like Aurelia, so I don't know if this is just Fnatic saying we feel so confident in Caps that we're willing to blind pick it, or whether Soaz has actually been practicing this champion.
Yeah, I think Soaz definitely capable of taking it up to the top side. And that may be another reason why they've got him in instead of Whippo. Deficio talked a little bit about the difference in play styles, where Soaz can play a bit more safe, not take as many risks if they do need to swap him a champion like Aurelia. Regardless, we do have the Scion already locked in for 100 Thieves. That super reliable front line, hard engage for them to try and team fight around, which is what 100 Thieves' entire year of League of Legends has been, team fighting.
Well, I wonder if they're going to get a comfort pick for Rakar right now. The Zyre is open, but instead they're going to prioritize the Kai'Sa. Now, given that it does have a weaker laning phase and they are going up against the pretty aggressive bot lane of Reckless and Hylissang, I wonder how they're going to be able to match up against this, because things like Tristana, Sivir, two big comfort picks for Reckless are up and available.
Exactly. I was going to say, this to me shouts a Sivir pick for Fnatic before the second round of bans come in. But as you said, Reckless has a lot of options, and often they have actually waited to get him something later in the draft. An early Braum pick this time around from Fnatic's side, actually, for Hylissang in the bottom side.
This to me implies that Fnatic are going to put a little more priority on champions like the Ornn, just because right now, if you cannot get engaged in the support role, you kind of look towards the top side of the map, and with Scion already gone, I wonder if Ornn raises in priority.
They would have to pick it right now, because if they don't, then I think 100 Thieves will easily be able to ban that out. You know, as you said, Braum off the table means there's no counter for the ultimate. There's that Sivir we were looking for, though, the Reckless special, and they do want to get that one before the second round of bans come in, kind of as expected.
Now, it looks like 100 Thieves going to prioritize getting themselves a bit of a strong matchup in the middle lane. They can then look to ban out some of the other potential counters, like LeBlanc can be taken off the board if they don't expect the Aurelia to be mid, but I do think that Lissandra is a fine matchup into Aurelia, assuming that that is where it is going.
Lissandra is certainly a champion that's more difficult to solo kill, but it is a champion that can get beat significantly in CS in lane phase. So it is a little scary that 100 Thieves have actually shown both solo lane picks this early in the draft, but that is going to be it. He's throwing down the gauntlet, and he's willing to face whatever Caps has in the table. There's the Ornn ban that we were expecting, since 100 Thieves don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and of course that means jungle taken off the table. Nocturne was also something Deficio and Jat wanted to take off. I think Deficio said Nocturne can be used by weaker teams to beat better teams. I'm paraphrasing a little. The response there is the Shen removed from the pool once again, meaning 100 Thieves anticipate obviously Aurelia to go mid, but the Skarner still up, the Olaf still up, the Lee Sin still up, depending how the rest of this draft shakes up. Vedis, what direction do you think Fnatic will be taking this?
Well, I think that right now they have scaling bot side of the map. They have overall good team fighting. I think that Civic can act as a form of engage, but I think an Olaf would quite nicely fit into the draft for Fnatic. I think that it synergizes nicely in terms of what they want to do. It gives them a little bit of early playmaking potential, and also I think it does synergize nicely with the Aurelia and gives you a strong 2v2, assuming that it's in the mid lane.
Aurelia is definitely a solo lane champion that they can try and snowball early. 100 Thieves are already... Oh, yes! We've got a Bard for Afromu. This is one of the champions, kind of a legacy champion for Afromu that he has had highlight plays in the North American LCS on, but we have not seen him bring it out on the international stage, and it brings a very long range engage and possible playmaking for the mid section of the game. Roaming around is one of the areas where we have not seen supports go to in this current meta. It's been so many melee supports sticking in lane with their marksmen. You know, Bard here is a huge switch from 100 Thieves.
And of course, the Lee Sin response by Fnatic along with the Cho'Gath. So 100 Thieves throwing down a little bit of that gauntlet. Let's see how the Sivir Braum handles the Kai'Sa Bard. And for Under, He's got a jungle champion left into the Lee Sin, into this little bit of a death ball composition, Kobe. 8 seconds left on the clock. What direction is he going?
All right, let's see. What's off the table already? Olaf's still available, but it looks like it is going to be the Poppy. More frontline locked in here for 100 Thieves because they are very secure in their late game damage. They, putting a lot of faith in Rikara, this young guy on the world stage, giving him the Kaisa, along with the added damage of a Bard should not be underestimated here. And they've got a lot of zoning now with those 3 members on the first 3 picks.
So I do feel like that both teams have geared slightly more towards team fighting. You can see that with champions like Aurelia and Sivir, that's the name I'm looking for. In terms of the late game 5v5, they offer a lot in terms of damage especially. But I think that the Kaisa versus Sivir late game matchup is always very interesting because Sivir does more area of effect damage, but the outplay potential that a Kaisa has is that much stronger because of her mobility, because of the amount of single target damage, especially that she's able to get off the back of her passive as well. So I think there's the potential for some explosive late game fights, but Fnatic are the kind of team that run off of very strong early game leads.
And there is a lot of potential for some quick playmaking with Lee Sin and Aurelia. These are super mobile champions, so using that extra mobility there to try and create plays around the map in little skirmishes, I think would be to Fnatic's advantage. As you said, though, 100 Thieves have an incredibly secure team fight. If they can get through that early phase of the game to the team fight, Lissandra zone, Poppy zone, trying to create room there for the back line.
Well, let's see if they can survive the early game, because the early game is what actually toppled 100 Thieves last time they played, Kobe. It is NALCS taking on EULCS, the last day of groups. And the 2 men on your screen, Caps versus Ryu. Caps unlocked the win for Fnatic by getting at least 5 solo kills, 2 or 3 of which were on Ryu in lane.
Yeah, it was definitely the Caps and Broxah show last time these 2 teams played. 100 Thieves actually only scored 1 kill the entire game, and certainly were demolished. They're looking for some revenge here, though, as we head in to the last day of groups.
And my eyes are going to be on Afromu, on his Bard. It is one of those champions that is synonymous with one of the North American legends. And of course, it's the first time we're seeing a Bard here in the World Championship group stage, so high expectations for a team that is 1 win and 2 losses. If they win this game, they are tied with Fnatic, and tied for that 2nd seed. It means anything is possible.
Now, the thing about Bard is, you talked a little bit about it earlier, Kobe, he has a lot of options to roam around the map, largely because of his portals, and also because of the mobility that he gets from his passive charms that'll just be laying around the map. But when you're going up against a Sivir Braum, a lane that does naturally just push a lot, doesn't have a lot of answer to kind of deal with the kind of Rikara and Afromu don't have a lot of options to deal with the wave clear from this side. I don't know how many opportunities he's going to get to be able to roam around the map.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we? Because as it stands, no shenanigans. Hilly and Reckless going to be helping out Broxah. Nice good pull in the Brambleback. You can see Under starting by the Raptor camp, but Rikara and Afro are already in lane. So small advantage there as a Fnatic duo return.
Yeah, Poppy actually has a very good AoE start. If you take the Talisman, as Anda has done here, and you start with Q on Poppy, you can lay damage on all of those small raptors. You get a lot of health back. Doesn't take too much for her to start there. And it allows you to have a very clean top side clear where you can transition into this area of the map, go for that top side scuttle as well. Meanwhile, they're leaving Rikara and Afromu here on the Kaisa Bard lane to try and use their range advantage early on. You can see constant Qs coming out here from Afromu, looking for that harass, fishing for some damage on the Fnatic duo.
And Rikara and Afromu also got to the lane sooner, so they got that earlier level 2, and already in this early laning phase, they're feeling a little more comfortable. The risk of them getting pushed in early is definitely not there, so for the time being, they're looking pretty good.
And there we just got a glimpse of Anda. As I said, very clean, clear as far as AoE camps go. And most of the AoE camps are, of course, on the red buff side, clearing out Krugs for himself. He's trying to get an early next spawn for those. He goes for an early recall, actually, not even going for a Scuttle Crab at all. So neither jungler has revealed themselves in the river yet. This is actually quite odd as far as what we've seen so far at Worlds. 3 minutes and nobody revealing themselves on those Scuttle Crab wards.
So project forward a couple minutes from the perspective of Broxah or Anda. The fact they haven't revealed, the fact that Anna's picked up those boots now as well, what direction should he be prioritizing his time when you look at the state of the jungle, Kobe?
I think that he would want to get some vision to protect Ricard and Aframu. So much of this game is about this Kaisa lane for 100 Thieves, trying to get him comfortably to the late game with enough items that they can actually have the damage output in those team fights. So he is looking for the scuttle first, and he's going to try and lay some wards down for the bottom lane so they can continue to look for the aggressive harassment, which is what you pick a range support for. And they're doing a pretty good job of using it now.
Keep my eyes on the mid lane matchup as well, because let's not forget that the last time these two mid laners met, it was a pretty one-sided affair. Caps had a very impressive performance. He did have a slightly more favorable matchup with the Aurelia into the Syndra, and on the Lissandra, you definitely have a lot more survivability options and a lot more early game push, especially against these melee champions. So I think that Ryu is in a more comfortable position, but again, something that Caps often did during the regular season of the LCS was somehow still find those solo kills.
Yeah, and Aurelia definitely gets a lot more access to burst damage once the level 6 and ultimate comes in. Ryu there does at least deny the cannon minion to him with the presence of Anda, who, by the way, did leave a lot of those deep wards down. There's your cap stats, though. You guys can definitely say that the stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, opponent jungle proximity, you can see the goal difference of 15, 1,700, but as we mentioned, it was a very, very heavily one-sided matchup. Caps with a fantastic trade, goes all the way under the tower.
Oh,
Ryu! Support! He didn't follow it through! Here comes Brox! First blood for Brox's Lee Sin! Now he's gonna get away. Takes a hammer to the face from Under, continuing to running. Looking at the minimap, Hillisang is coming up. There's the Winter's Bite. Under's coming from the side. A Cosmic Binding is body blocked. Oh my God! The shield and everything survives. Broxa gets out alive. Now Hillisang's the target. Ryu's teleported in for the fight. I am speechless at how Fnatic did that.
Oh my goodness, Fnatic don't lose a person. Ryu plays with fear. We heard the interview from Aframu right before this game. He said one of the biggest things for 100 Thieves is to play without fear and go for the big plays. Ryu doesn't have the confidence that that claw is going to chunk down Caps, so he doesn't take it. Yeah, it is definitely a risky take because, yeah, we're shouting about it now, but look how low Ryu is when he takes it. Regardless, though, this is going to be an Acer Predator replay. Please take us through it, Vedian.
Yeah, so you can see that Caps, he takes 3 tower shots overall in this trade, and Ryu, he just has to come in on the E and land an auto. Caps has no cooldowns left available, and then because he doesn't walk into the minions, he walks outside of them, Broxer is able to land the Q, and you think at this point the fight is over, but then Hillisang makes his way up.
And this is the chase where supports come to the rescue. Hillisang allows Broxer to use the W to him first, puts up the shield to block Aframu's damage.
Guardian, so useful in that exchange.
Only thing that gets through is the Ignite, and Guardian Shield is enough to keep him alive through the Ignite.
But on top of that, Brox's W, he used it onto Hillisang first, which means that it has the shorter cooldown, so it's then ready for him to ward hop later on. So he gets ultimately 3 shields in that exchange that keeps him alive.
Yeah, already we get kind of a glimpse into the mindset of these players with that early skirmish that does take place. And Fnatic definitely coming out on top.
And the last time Broxer started a game with a snipe from that Sonic Wave, it started a tumble. That was beautiful to behold. We actually have a little bit of 100 Thieves stats to show the early game, and as Sunday's starting to be bullied back, Sunday's been one of the shining lights for 100 Thieves. CSD at 15 is plus 20. But when you look at the mid and the bottom lanes, minus 19, minus 18, and the goal difference, that's where 100 Thieves have been struggling, and Ryu's already conceded first blood, as we said, playing a little bit scared.
Yeah, Caps beat up on Ryu so much the last time these two teams played. It looked like Ryu not willing to go for the kind of riskier play this time around. And already not a good start for him. We'll have to see how the rest of it does play out, though, because the kill credit went to the Lee Sin. And you mentioned Brox's previous Lee Sin game, Trevor. He really did a good job of snowballing the early advantage and hard carrying.
It certainly is something that Fnatic will be quite happy about, and for 100 Thieves, their game plan of kind of stalling things out is still very relevant. The fact that you're only 1 kill down is not the end of the world. It very much depends on how Broxer can then utilize this, and I think that it can be, I think he could look to gank bot, but I think that he wants to maintain pressure around mid. The fact that Ryu has no flash, the fact that he can't afford to really push up in the lane anymore, means that Broxah can either, I think it's risky to go for a dive, but if he's not then utilizing the fact that Ryu is pushed under his power to dive him, then he should look for plays elsewhere.
I think that's a good point. You don't want to dwell on your mistakes. Yes, that was the mistake in the mid lane from 100 Thieves, but they cannot let that one get to their heads. Meanwhile, bottom side, Broxah's in!
Yeah, Brox has already found Rikara. He's kicked back with the Dragon's Rage. That's a magical journey. Rikara stays alive! Manages to escape with his life. The Void Seeker comes out and Reckless dodges that one. Rikara by the skin of his teeth.
So we were just talking about where Broxah would look to utilize his advantage. Immediately he goes bot lane, but now we have a trade in mid.
All right, Flawless Stewart comes up. Vanguard's Edge is available for Caps, but he decides to hold the trigger. Ryu escapes thanks to the Ring of Frost.
Whew, definitely a lot of action on bottom side. Rikara makes good use of the killer instinct here with the extra shield, but he does have to blow both summoners. Look at what Fnatic were able to get out of that gank. Definitely successful use of time from Broxah, and you have to wonder, will the bottom lane be targeted again very quickly? Because that was so many defensive cooldowns now for Rikara not available.
I'm not entirely sure if Afromu's ulti was up either. I want to say that he was still level 5 as mid lane is still going at it once again.
Yeah, Caps managed to catch a glimpse of Under as he crested the river, I believe. Under's waiting under the control ward, and Hylissang, with access to that glacial path, he decides to go in. Rikara very, very easily escapes thanks to Supercharge, and Brox is going to be waiting in the wings. There goes the Vanguard's Edge, and so far it's a 2-for-2. Cap starts to back away, and the teleport is being channeled. Defensive flash from Ryu as Cap is the target. He manages to flash for his life. The path is not taken as Soaz is here to support the team.
Yeah, this time around, Soaz teleports in to protect his mid laner, so that means Someday on top side is pushing a wave into the turret. Fnatic do save their team members here, but they're going to lose out on a bit of gold due to the CS.
But I will say that this is pretty reckless play from Caps. No pun intended. But the reality is that he doesn't have the vision towards the bot side of the river because of that control ward that's on the bot side. And Ryu has his ulti and enough CC that if Anda joins the fray, they're able to win out on that 2 versus 2. And I just feel that Caps, if that teleport hadn't come in through Soaz, that is another situation where he arguably should have died. So 100 Thieves actually doing a really good job of coming close to shutting down Caps, but can't quite find that kill yet.
Definitely agree. This early game has been so close. Small margins really making a big difference so far. Not out of reach still, though, because look, bottom lane still very close. Rikara halfway back as far as the cooldown on his flash and heal are concerned. And they have plenty of wards. Again, continued focus from 100 Thieves, trying to get the deep wards in this side of the map, so there's extra vision for their duo lane. Broxah's going straight down the lane, though, to avoid all of those.
What I'd love to try and see from 100 Thieves right now is actually a return gank towards the mid lane, because Caps now has no summoner spells. If Afro can actually make his way up towards the mid with the jungler, I think that they can find a kill onto Caps and start putting him behind.
Well, we'll have to see what decisions they make. It's still even CS for every single lane. But the kills in favor of Fnatic, it's a plus 1,400 gold advantage. And Kobe, I really like the fact that you keep pointing out 100 Thieves' vision. Every time I look at the minimap, 100 Thieves have got some sort of deep wards in the Fnatic jungle. There was one near the blue buff that just timed out, and obviously around that red buff. But Fnatic, they're looking for picks. They're playing that little bit of the skirmish game, using the mobility they have to their favor.
The big issue that 100 Thieves face right now is the fact that their bot tower is slowly being chipped away, and the moment that that gets taken by Reckless and Hylissang, they can start moving around the map with Broxah. Goes for a bit of a trade, but moving back to this bot lane tower, once it drops and this AD carry can move around the map, that's
bye, Afro move! Please continue.
Whoa! Okay, so he had flash up, he has his ulti up, and I wasn't expecting him to die, if I'm being honest.
Well, he's standing next to vision provided by that ward that Fnatic had placed over the tri-bush, so they're able to land the stun, and he doesn't get any chance to react now because they killed Afro. Fnatic trying to finish off this Inferno, but here comes the Poppy ult!
All right, Poppy ult dashed away from my Broxah. Broxah jumps back into the pit. Kicks Under out. It is secured, but Ryu's now inside. He throws down the Ring of Frost, and that's a defensive flash from Under. Ryu's getting jumped on by Reckless. stays alive a few seconds longer, is now in the back end. Hylissang's trying to chase out Under. Fnatic get the Dragon, Fnatic get the kill, and Fnatic are in the lead.
Yeah, they start with the pick onto Afromu, so then when 100 Thieves collapse, they're just going for this steal, but they get caught inside. Now, Hylissang actually, he's okay, Reckless there enough to provide him an escape route.
Oh, 100 Thieves. That was not a situation where you could really contest. Fnatic, they had the numbers advantage, but now they're looking for something back.
All right, Magical Journey comes through, and that's a pretty disappointing tempered fate, as 100 Thieves made a ploy and it didn't work out.
They do get the flash off of Hylissang, so there was a long cooldown use. Let's take another look at this pick, though. The Q right over the edge.
Yeah, and then stunned.
And the auto attacks come through quick enough that he just gets locked up.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting the damage, but here in this situation, you got to remember, bot lane has priority. It looks like this is a 2 versus 2, but Fnatic, this is actually a 4 versus 2. You can see that Under gets kicked out of the pit, Ryu is left in the back line, and because he goes for more of the defensive room choice, he doesn't have the damage to kill Broxah, so he's forced to ulti himself, and then with 3 members of Fnatic, and Broxah didn't need to come back in, but he's like, I deserve this kill, so I'm gonna get it.
I mean, he's got 3 kills, and I'd say he deserves all 3 of them there. The Lee Sin absolutely popping off in this game, and he jumped in and out of that pit so many times that fight. It's a really cool interaction to see Poppy and Lee Sin going after an objective, threatening the knockout. He dodges one, jumps back in, kicks out the Poppy, and it's this ping pong game around who gets to stay around the dragon when it's in smite range.
Well, it was Fnatic that ended up securing that one, Kobe. 3-0, 100% kill participation, and Broxah, now he has a record that he's already set. Turns his attention, Caps rather turns his attention to Rio. When Broxah played Lee Sin against Durex, he went 7-0-8. That was the beautiful Lee Sin performance. Let's see how close he gets this game, because he's already started off phenomenally well, coming in at the 15-minute mark. He's been the playmaker that has allowed Fnatic to accrue a 3,000 gold lead, and you can already see some of the first big-ticket items coming in. Righteous Glory for Soaz, Storm Razor for Reckless, Rage Blade on the side of Rikara, and obviously Fnatic will be looking to play forward, which is why Broxah and Caps stepping into 100 Thieves jungle, getting out with the flawless duet, but this is a cheeky play from Someday. Hylissang flashless, remember, from that earlier engage. Reckless is trying to help him, while in the jungle, it's a shutdown onto Broxah.
And that's big for 100 Thieves. That was all 3 kills of Fnatic on a single person. They're not done yet. They're going for Reckless and Hylissang.
Reckless is knocked up into the air. He manages to flash for his life. Hilly's pinned against the wall. That flash from earlier cost Hilly this time round, and 100 Thieves get 2.
They finally answer back, and they find a good number of kills down onto Fnatic. They're now making their way towards the tower, but Fnatic, they want to fight.
Oh, the tower's going low. The teleport should complete. Soaz arrived. Caps is coming from behind. Caps dashes all the way forward. Flawless duet. Stuns up Rikara. Look at that Vanguard's edge. Disarming everybody in the pit. Soaz dashes forward, looking for another. The Rupture throws somebody into the air. In 3 versus 5. Fnatic are routing 100 Thieves. Afro runs for his life, picks up a shrine on the way out, and the one last kill. Fnatic turn it round.
3 versus 5. Fnatic not only keep their tower alive, but they find themselves 3 kills and the first tower of the game. Beautiful stuff from the Fnatic squad.
River Vision did so much right there. These control wards through the river. They had Caps roaming down, and 100 Thieves did not account for this flanking Aurelia. Fnatic coming through with a huge defense at that tower. 100 Thieves really wanted that first turret bonus goal. Let's take a look at how it started out, though. The teleport from Someday so deep into the jungle of Fnatic, allow them to get the shutdown, and then it's the 5-member collapse.
Yeah, and I think this play from 100 Thieves is a really good one. The fact that they get that shutdown goal, they find 2 kills, everything is on track to secure the tower. You'd think that, hey, we have a numbers advantage, surely we can win this. And you kind of look at the ultimates that are available. 100 Thieves still have a lot, but then Caps comes in and he gets this fantastic Vanguard's edge.
Yeah, they do not respect the teleport because they didn't see Caps coming as well. Once he arrives, the Vanguard's edge, then flashing out. Now we're back at it, and Rikara down!
Please continue, Kobe.
Well, now it's a power play for Fnatic, especially on the top side. They've got 3 members, and they can try and press for a turret for themselves.
And the one win condition that many of the analysts talked about for 100 Thieves was stay alive in the laning phase. And so far that game plan is falling apart.
It's so difficult. I mean, Fnatic, they just really understand where they can find their kills, committing to that 3v5. But the one thing that the analysts did talk about, and Deficio and Jet spoke about at length, was how Someday was the playmaker. Someday was the member of 100 Thieves to be the most afraid of, and he's playing the Scion. You saw the setup to that bot lane play, all channeled from his teleport, but it's so
Bottom lane again, Trevor, speaking of which.
5k behind. Soaz will get locked into place by all of the CC. Knocked up into the air. Someday takes a lot of damage, but he should be able to escape with his life. Eventually, Soaz goes down. Now, while that was going on, Fnatic got the top tower. Caps has been able to roam, but I don't know if they're going to fancy another fight.
This time around, 100 Thieves have vision on Caps because they've spent so much of their time getting deep vision through this Fnatic jungle, and they're able to find a way out.
Caps this time doesn't feel as confident. They don't have their tank, but Broxah on the Lee Sin, one of the best stealing champions in the game, is eyeing that Infernal.
Sonic Wave did find his target. I think it has timed out. Anders able to smite the Infernal down. 100 Thieves are on the board. Caps is looking for the Vanguard's edge if he wants to engage, but decides against it. He got the stun down, and this time around, Ryu's now coming to defend the tower. Reckless with the rapid fire cannon and the Storm Razor is trying to hammer away at that tower.
Rift Herald been used as well. They want to finish off this push and get the last outer turret, but here comes the Bard ult.
All right, Tempered Fate's pretty good. That's going to lock Caps into place. He gets pinned against the wall as well. The tower continues to be the focus. Broxah jumps in, dashes out, holds on to the kick though. Afro forced to take the portal through the wall. And now Shelly's going to charge up and get a boop on this inner turret. 100 Thieves, they are running for their lives. Soaz has rejoined the front, and Fnatic will get 2 towers out this push.
And the Rift Herald's not done yet. Shelly going for another charge on the inhibitor turret.
All right, that's another boost. And there's, of course, the wave clear from Reckless continuing to chase. 19 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. The base is open. And this is an extremely high-tempo game. Fnatic still maintain control, 6,500, 7,000 gold.
And at first, when I saw that ulti come through from Afro, I thought, this is it. They found the lockdown onto Caps. If they kill him, maybe they can turn this into a big fight. But somehow, they're able to turn it around thanks to the playmaking from Broxah. He dives into the middle of the 100 Thieves. He causes so much chaos. And you'd think at this point, again, they're still fighting underneath the tower. You'd think at this point, Fnatic, surely they can't win, but 100 Thieves are the ones that get forced back. They lose 3 towers, and now their inhibitor is exposed.
Yeah, if you don't immediately get the stun on the Aurelia right out of the Tempered Fate, she can press the W, get the damage reduction for any follow-up there, and Caps not going down means that Fnatic were able to get 3 turrets out of that push.
The last 10 minutes of this game have been blistering pace. Fnatic just are relentless. Every single opportunity that's presented was capitalized on, and yes, Fnatic have conceded a few kills, but they're in monumental control, and it just feels like they have an answer to everything 100 Thieves are doing.
The positives for 100 Thieves have come through 5-member team play. Focusing on the bottom lane, they keep collapsing. They try to get Broxah first, then they got something out of the bottom side, but it's in the overstays afterwards. The follow-up, Fnatic continually has a better answer.
Let's see if 100 Thieves can stall this out. They need a lot of time before Ricard is going to be in a combative position. He's just on a Rage Blade and Attack Speed Dagger versus Rapid Fire Storm Razor BF, so Reckless is going to be able to out-damage a huge amount. There is, of course, the lockdown onto Caps. There's a follow-up from the Flawless Duet. This was a potential 5-on-5 at Fnatic successfully disengaged.
But now the ultimate is gone for Ryu. He does still have the teleport, but Fnatic feel confident enough to continue the push. Keep an eye on Afro's ulti. If another fight is to start, it will be off the back of him as they try to defend against the Fnatic's push.
Look at the rest of the mini-map. Ryu and Ricard are simply not near enough. So as steps forward, takes a couple tower shots, and Reckless isn't comfortable enough to stay in range of the tower, so he does back away, and for the time being, 100 Thieves defend the siege.
Now, Fnatic had the option of pressuring Baron a little harder there, but instead they want to go back to base. They're sitting on a decent amount of gold that they want to be spending, and then you'll start to see them go back to setting up around the Baron, resetting some of the side waves, and because they have the Cho'Gath and the Sivir, they will take this objective down extremely quickly, and trying to steal objectives away from a Lee Sin can often be a challenge. So 100 Thieves, their game plan right now is get as much vision as they can and stall for as long as they can.
And not only the Lee Sin execution, but if Soaz comes, they've got a Cho'Gath ultimate as well for the secure. So Fnatic are set up pretty well for the later stages of this game. Right now, 100 Thieves, they're grouped again, though, and they're trying to make a play on Caps.
All right, Broxah's going to need to save Caps here, potentially. He jumps in, finds the kick. Rikara, why were you that far forward? Not anticipating the counter-attack. Oh, it's a Fnatic portal into the Tempered Fate. Afro move. You save the lives of 100 Thieves as Fnatic were taking the enemy portal. In a numbers advantage, Fnatic step into the pit. Someday gets a full channel on the Q, and Fnatic, they've started off the Baron.
Blast Cone is available. 100 Thieves all positioning at the front of the Baron pit, though. They're trying to keep Fnatic in there. I think that Fnatic will be able to secure this with the Cho'Gath as well as Lee Sin, but 100 Thieves might try and take the fight.
All right, there's the turn. Reckless throws down the ultimate. The party portal is on the way out. For 100 Thieves and under is going to be the sacrificial lamb. Pinned against the wall, knocked up, knocked down, shut down. Fnatic get their 9th kill. And 100 Thieves, they have stopped the Baron, but at the cost of Under's life.
Fnatic didn't want to run the risk of the Baron being stolen away, so they wanted to turn and fight. But 100 Thieves, they were not overcommitting. They were just dancing around. They felt like the Baron wasn't low enough just yet. And so Fnatic, getting impatient, used the Sivir ultimate to kind of get things going. They're only able to find a single kill onto Under, and given that Rikara has respawned in the lane and the waves aren't in a great position, they just take the kill and back away.
All right. Giant gold lead now for Fnatic. Plus, they have control of most of the map to try and push up and get those wards down. Let's see if they return to this Baron area and use that to force 100 Thieves into a bad spot trying to face check. Right now, Afromu's taking the timing to get a couple of wards around Baron down, so that doesn't happen.
Of course, this is how the whole play started. Initially, I thought Caps was in trouble, but all of Fnatic in the area for the response.
And the thing that impresses me is how long Caps holds his flash onto. He kind of baits Rikara to overextend and say, okay, look at me, I'm in a bad position. And then the rest of Fnatic just suddenly show up. Broxah gets a fantastic kick onto the AD carry to allow them to find that execute. And then, of course, the Afromu ultimate comes on through to deny the rest of Fnatic getting that follow-up.
All right, 25 minutes crested on the clock. 7.5, nearly 8,000 gold lead for Fnatic. 9 kills to 3. And of course, Vedius will be very aware of how much I love Dragon stats, Kobe. I'm going to introduce you to a quick stat. Neither of these teams have picked up a Mountain Drake during the World's group stage. And guess what? The next Dragon is a Mountain. This will be a world first for either of them. Regardless of that fact, Fnatic are setting up around Baron. The vision
What is even true anymore, Trevor? I don't know what to believe. A Mountain Drake?
I just hate the fact that he said a world's first.
Well, these
Yes,
teams...
Of course, yes, I understand the technicality.
Being technically correct is the best kind of correct. But Fnatic and 100 Thieves are more interested in the Baron. That's why that vision and counter vision is being set up. 100 Thieves got a couple of control wards, but they're still trying to find the team fight that can bring them back in the game.
You're pointing, Kobe. Speak, Kobe. What is it?
You were about to speak. The gold difference speaks volumes here. In the first game, 10,000 gold lead at 25 minutes for Fnatic. This time around, only 7,684. So improvement, technically, for 100 Thieves.
Very true. That's very, very true. Now, the big thing for Fnatic is that Soaz doesn't have his teleport available. So he wants to push out the bot, which he's done, and then group up with his team. Fnatic should now look to pressure the Baron to force the TP out from Someday so that they have the similar summoner situation. Because right now, Someday is more than happy to just keep pushing down towards the bot side of the map and create this point of pressure.
And there's no margin for error. Reckless has just picked up his Infinity Edge. 2.5, 3 items on the side of Fnatic. And for 100 Thieves to find a way back into this game with the champions on their side that do have scaling, they cannot concede Baron, but they cannot concede even more than they already have. And it is an unenviable task to be in right now, especially as Fnatic. They just seem to find a way in, find a way to pick up kills in every single opportunity. Fnatic, they're going to be pushing these waves out and potentially setting up for Baron in the next few minutes. Taking a look at Soaz, his teleport's not available, so once he starts to move, that's when I think Fnatic may make him a play. So
yep. 100 Thieves just in pure defense mode right now, Trevor. So the thing you're bringing up here, it is all up to Fnatic to choose their opportunity. And the first step, they're trying to get those wards in. Right now, 100 Thieves trying to set up a counter attack. to see if there's any sort of mistake from Fnatic, because that is their best opportunity to get back in this game. Kind of what they're looking for, someone out of position that they could try and get a quick kill on without committing to an entire 5v5.
So now you'll see Fnatic starting to push their vision line up in towards 100 Thieves topside jungle. This is the kind of situation Fnatic wanted to find themselves in. Then they'll go back to mid, clear that one out. And they just want to keep these waves under control. Top is slowly pushing in their favor. Mid will now be pushing. And while there is that big bot wave, they could send soaz to go and answer it. But with the situation that they're in, I feel like Baron is the objective that they should try and force.
Yeah, that ward from 100 Thieves just spotting Fnatic out. Fnatic now going to start Baron. It's an 8,000 gold deficit. And a peel away, of course. They've got a lot of options to turn and fight or use the Lee Sin kick to get rid of any potential steals or threats. And for 100 Thieves, they have got to be very, very careful. There's no room to misstep.
The problem the 100 Thieves have is that even if a member of Fnatic goes bot to catch the wave, I don't know if 100 Thieves are confident enough to try and force a 5v4 just because of how big the gold disparity is. Really, they need to find themselves a pick or scale long enough that they have 3 items and they can actually deal damage in these fights, because let's assume soaz can't get involved in the fight, which he now can because his teleport is back up. I don't think they're confident enough to be able to kill Caps or Reckless in a 5v4 situation around Baron.
Most definitely. They have to wait for an opportunity to appear and then jump on it. Because as of right now, it's all about defensive wave clear. Fnatic, though, this is their time to push up and try and force 100 Thieves into that bad spot. You start forcing them to transition between Baron and between defending these waves, that's where you begin to force mistakes from your opponents and try and, pick people off.
Let's be a little bit more nitpicky on the Fnatic side. Obviously, soaz had no teleport, so understandable you're going to wait for that to be up. But these next few minutes now, Vedius, with the TP up and looking at the minimap, talk to me about what you anticipate from Fnatic, as hold that thought for now is there's a potential engage.
Well, I feel like they could have been forcing the Baron much earlier. Right now they're trying to sneak it, but it should have been spotted out because of that ward just outside the pit. 100 Thieves haven't actually pinged it just yet. But all right, Fnatic right now, this is working in their favor.
Yeah, they're going to rush this one down. The observers are highlighting all of the wards in and around this area. But of course, because of the control ward, the blue trinket denies vision from 100 Thieves, and Fnatic simply sneak the objective. As 100 Thieves start to back away, there was a lot of wards. It was nearly impossible to get through that line of Fnatic members. So it's just an incredibly lose-lose, difficult scenario for 100 Thieves.
I'm curious as to what path Fnatic took there, because just that one ward just outside the pit is what I thought would be enough to spot them out, but it feels like that it wasn't. It couldn't actually catch where they were, and we'll be able to see. So they end up walking over this ward. So 100 Thieves had full information that this was going on. They even pinged it out, but I guess they're in a situation where they're like, all right, well, we can't actually get into a situation to contest. We can't challenge, and so they choose not to. Instead, they're going to try and stall out as much as they can.
Yeah, that was a really good vision toggle there by the observers, though. It tells the entire story. 100 Thieves not willing to go chase at that point to go for the contest. So if you're not willing to do it there, you have already an exposed inhibitor down mid lane. It's going to make it now you're facing a Baroned up team that's going to be coming through, sieging on 2 lanes and taking more turrets. Seems like it will be more difficult now, but what they're looking for is the big flank. With the hard engage coming through here, if you have a very well-placed Bard ultimate and you can isolate targets, that may be one of the slim possibilities, because Fnatic right now, they're just looking to push right inside, and they could even end with this Baron.
Yeah, they've got a 10k gold lead, they've got Baron, they've got a Mountain, they've got an Infernal. Unless Fnatic are at a numbers disadvantage, they should be able to win the fight. That's a very good engage from 100 Thieves. Reckless is able to flash away. Tempered Fate buys time, but it stops 100 Thieves equally so. They're unable to find the kill. Caps is on a rampage. Reckless finds another. The inhibitor turret goes down, and Fnatic are barreling through the base. Sunday's the last man standing. He will be aced as Fnatic have broken open access to the Nexus. The inhibitor will be falling, and Fnatic have done it.
Yep, with Baron buff, Fnatic should be able to finish this one off and check off the first box on their crash course towards IG for a tiebreaker.
Fnatic take the first win of the day, dismantling 100 Thieves. And it was a slightly slower version of the first time these two teams met. but no less dominant from the #1 team out of the European LCS.
Yeah, if I wanted to nitpick, I would argue that Caps played a little over-eager at times. Definitely opportunities for 100 Thieves to punish. And I do feel like their Baron, they could have been a little faster to pressure. I felt like with the goal lead they had and with the Cho'Gath and Lee Sin, they could have set up for it earlier. But again, that is just nitpicking. Overall, the game was very clean. They found a lot of the early skirmishes. I thought Broxah had another very impressive Lee Sin game. And I feel like that moving in towards that big IG game, they need to keep this consistency up because it's going to be very important if they still want a chance for that tiebreak.
Yeah, you think if Reckless goes, or if Caps does go for that dive against Rookie goes for the kill on the first blood, and it doesn't happen. Maybe he doesn't do that if it is Rookie, but regardless, that is #1 here. Victory for Fnatic at the beginning of the day. That is how they wanted to start it off.
Yeah, and of course, as we talked about a lot for Fnatic, is setting their sights towards Invictus Gaming later on in the day.